Hi, and what's posthumanism? Whenever we have a question regarding the definition of a word that has the prefix post, we have to first look at what's post-post. So in this case, what is the humanism in question? And to answer that question, maybe the best place to start would be from the beginning. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Pretty straightforward. He separated light from darkness, the heavens from the earth, land from sea, good from evil. He created man in his own image, separating God from man. He derived woman from man, separating men from woman. And of course, he created all the plants and animals that populate the world, entirely separate from mankind, but there to be ruled over, under man's dominion. Everything in the heavens and the earth, from the constellations in the sky to the spirals in the snail's shell, were created for the benefit of man. And so for a very long time, men enjoyed prime real estate at the center of the universe.
Now if you go to the top of the banana, you'll find, as with the soda can makers, they placed a tab at the top, so God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face. Notice how gracefully it sits over the human hand. Notice it has a point at the top for ease of entry. It's just the right shape for the human mouth. It's chewy, easy to digest, and it's even curved toward the face to make the whole process so much easier. Seriously, Kirk, the whole of creation testifies to the genius of God's creative hand.
But what if we're wrong? What if we're mistaken about our egotistical role as the cosmic center of all things? Critical posthumanism questions the idea that the human perspective is the only valid perspective on the world. In fact, is there even a single unifying human perspective? The experience of being human differs so much across bodies, and space, and time. But in the same way that we dominate animals and things that aren't us, we subjugate other humans that don't share our bodies or persuasions. This is one of the dualities that pervades our thinking. I am the self. They are the other. I am civilized. They are primitive. I am male. They are female. From the very beginning, our world is constructed by boundaries, but these separations have been breaking down for a while now. In her essay, A Cyborg Manifesto, Donna Haraway outlines three major boundaries that have been transgressed. The first, the boundary between human and animal. Posthumanism also questions the idea that humans are the only ones with agency in the world.
Every human has their own unique microbiome made up of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other organisms. But we are starting to see how much our microbiome actually influences us and our behavior. Take depression, for example. Healthy rats fed microbes from the guts of depressed people began showing anxiety-like behavior and symptoms that look like depression. And in early 2017, a study linked the microbiome to intelligence by connecting a certain setup of bacteria in newborns with better motor and language skills.
When we look back on history's greatest achievements, we attribute them to the work of human hands, but we ignore all the other factors that might have been important as well. The non-human agents. In fact, we all come from non-humans. As Haraway puts it, biology and evolutionary theory has reduced the line between humans and animals to a faint trace. It's from the blurring of this line that Donna Haraway creates her myth of the cyborg.
The cyborg! Beware! The cyborg!
Which brings us to our second boundary, the boundary between organism and machine. A cyborg is a cybernetic organism, part organism and part machine system. Before and during the Industrial Revolution, the separation between humans and machines was clear. Humans had agency, and machines were being acted on. It wasn't until later that we realized the relationship went both ways. Our entire society is now built upon the pre-existence of machines. As time went on, the line became less clear. Automation means that machines require less human intervention to act, and artificial intelligence and machine learning gives them qualities that make them seem almost human. More and more we rely on machines for the governance of life, and we even put them inside ourselves, making them a part of our bodies. But it's more than that. Consider the word cybernetic organism. Cybernetics is the study of systems and networks, their structures, regulations, and control. Beyond a system of mechanical moving parts, the posthuman cyborg is about social systems and political structures. Take economics, for example. Ever since division of labor, we are all nodes in the economic system, doing specialized jobs that would not be productive if it weren't for the whole. There is no longer the separation of the self and everybody else. We are all a collection of networks, regulating our identity in relation to the world around us. The third transgression is related to the second, the boundary between physical and non-physical. Technological progress means our electronics are getting smaller and smaller, to the point that they're almost intangible. In fact, the things we use on a daily basis we can't even touch. But this comes at the cost of our understanding. The more complex a technology, the harder it is to understand. It becomes a black box, not just the way it works, but the process that they come to be in the first place. When we look at the world through our new technology, everything seems so clean. Everything is a matter of numbers and code. What we can't see is the real human suffering that comes along with it.
Well, I would hate to have to decide who stays up and who goes down.
Good, that would not be necessary, Mr. President. Could easily be accomplished with a computer. And the computer could be set and programmed to accept factors from youth, health, sexual fertility, intelligence, and a cross-section of necessary skills.
To Donna Haraway, microelectronics is about power. These technologies enable us to do so much, but who gets to use it? Who gets to decide where they go? And who is stuck on the assembly line? The posthuman is a way for us to think about what it means to call ourselves human, not just biologically, but also in the context of technology and politics. In our globalized world, all of these definitions have become so much more complex, and this idea of the cyborg is Donna Haraway's way of embracing our newer reality and all the contradictions that come with it. The cyber perspective is one that's much more inclusive of not just current science and technology, but also of voices that were marginalized by the dominant narrative. The voices of women and minorities, but also the voices of non-human processes. When we have a holistic view of how the present was shaped, we can have a much better view of what our future is going to look like.